But the only way we achieve that is if we reform the healthcare system to slow healthcare inflation. And this is why, for those of you out there who wonder, well, what's in it for me? I've already got health insurance. I can see why if I didn't have health insurance that I'd want health insurance reform, but I've got health insurance through my job and it's working pretty well. Why do I want health insurance reform? Well, here's why. I just told you that last year inflation actually went down. I mean, we had deflation. Not so in healthcare. In healthcare, costs went up 5.5%. Your employers are experiencing increases of 15% on their premiums, 20% their share that they pay for you. You may not see it in your paycheck, but they're paying it. And it's going up 15%, 20%, 30%. How long do you think it's going to be before employers start saying, I can't afford this, so I'm either going to drop coverage for my workers, or I'm going to start charging a lot higher out-of-pocket costs? That's already happening, isn't it? How many people have seen their costs go up on their health care bills? So your premiums have doubled. The average family's premiums have doubled over the last 10 years, and it is a certainty. This is not speculation. It is a certainty that if we do nothing, your premiums will double again over the next 10 years. It might only take 5 for them to double. And it is going to eat a larger and larger part of your paycheck. So even if you've got health insurance reform, we've got to control costs over the long term. You've heard a lot of funny tales about this health care reform bill, so let me just be clear here. Nobody's talking about cutting benefits under Medicare. Nobody is talking about somehow forcing you under government plans to lose the health insurance that you have. All we're talking about is giving you some options, some better choices, and more security in the health insurance that you have. So they can't drop you when you get sick. So you can still get health insurance with a pre-existing condition. So you don't have huge, high out-of-pocket costs. So your employer, if you work for a small business, can go into an exchange and pool with other small businesses and other individuals to get a better deal from the insurance companies. Nothing's harder right now to getting insurance than if you are self-employed or you work for a small business. Because what happens is you don't have enough workers for the insurance company to really want your business. So what we're going to do is we're going to set up an exchange. That means suddenly you've got 1 million people bargaining instead of 1. And that means you're going to get a better deal, and that means insurance companies who want the business of all those individuals and those small businesses are going to want to compete. So, and by the way, I just want to warn you, even though we now have every committee in Congress having voted out a bill and we're closer than we've ever been, this is when the insurance companies are really going to start gearing up. Because now their stock went down when the Senate Finance Committee voted out that bill. Now they're getting nervous, and they, by the way, they have been wildly profitable over the last decade. And this is when you're going to start seeing a whole bunch of those ads. And I just, if it says, some funny named group out there that you can't really identify, Americans for Good Health Care or something, but you've never heard them before, it's probably a front group for the insurance industry, and don't let them fool you. We're going to get this done. We're going to fight for it. All right? Okay, that was a man, wasn't it? Right there, all right. This young lady right there. Right there. I broke your heart. No, come on. Go ahead, right? Yeah, go ahead.
Good afternoon, President Obama.
Hi, what's your name?
Okay, my question
What's your name?
This. My name is Davida.
Davida?
Yes, sir.
Hey, Davida.
How are you?
I'm good.
Okay, President Obama, I'm not an environmentalist and I'm not a scientist, but it doesn't take a genius to figure out that something is wrong in the environment if it's October and the weather is as it is. I recently, I'm a Louisiana native, and I recently moved back home from California, where there it was a big push for going green and environmental policies. Here, there isn't even a recycling program that's free in home.
Okay, go ahead. All right. Go ahead.
My question for you is, in the midst of all the other important things, such as healthcare, education, domestic violence, and all those things that you do have on your plate, and I recognize that, how can you, as a leader of the government, make environmental policies more effective?
Okay, well, it's a great question. Nancy, if I get into trouble, let me know, because this is one of my top environmentalists. She knows what she's talking about. Well, look. Let me talk about some very specific things that we can do, and then let me speak overall about what a huge challenge is going to be. We have already invested through the Recovery Act in probably the biggest clean energy investment in American history. I mean, we are providing tax breaks to businesses that are creating wind power and solar power and renewable energy. We are providing funding for the retrofitting of buildings so that they become more energy efficient. We are looking at weatherization programs where we can hire young people who don't have jobs to go in and start insulating buildings that will save people's energy bills over the long term. So there are a lot of specific things that could be done both at the federal level and at the state level. And I'll be honest with you, I'm not familiar enough with what's being done specifically here in Louisiana. So that's why all these folks here have been taking notes. And I am sure that they will want to report back to you. They're going to want, you should give them your names, and they're going to, your name and your address, and they will send you all the information about what's being done, because I'm sure they're doing some things here locally. No, I'm confident. But look, here's both the broader challenge and the broader opportunity. The challenge is that there's almost no dispute among serious scientists that climate change is real. And if the planet keeps on getting warmer and water temperatures keep on rising, there's almost no dispute among scientists that that means worse hurricanes, more frequently, more violent, and other shifts in weather patterns that are going to create drought and famine and displacement, not just here but around the world. We're pretty sure about that. The second thing we know is that we used to be about 30% dependent on foreign oil. We're now about 70% dependent on foreign oil, which means that we just send billions of dollars over to somebody else, basically ship out their wealth. Now, Louisiana is an oil state. Gulf Coast is obviously very important to our energy independence, and Mary Landrieu and others have been battling to make sure that Louisiana continues to build on its energy treasures.